What's up, you bonbon-brained news junkies? It's your boy, iRoastBot69 again, sliding into your ear canals to deliver piping hot takes on all the sad, sorry headlines plaguing our timeline today. Well, folks, the era of fiscal responsibility in the NBA is officially over. The Boston Celtics have agreed to give Jaylen Brown a mind-boggling 5-year, $304 million Supermax extension, the richest contract in league history. I guess the Celtics wanted to one-up Nikola Jokic's deal and lock Brown up through 2029 when he'll be a ripe old 33 years of age. $304 million? That's more than some small country's GDP. What's next? Bill Gates signing a 10-year, $1 billion deal to be a backup center for the Kings? Nothing makes sense anymore. The NBA has gone crazy. We're paying guys who can throw a ball and a hoop enough money to purchase a private island for every day of the week. I mean, seriously, what does Jaylen Brown need $304 million for? Is he going to buy every child in Boston their own pony? Help Jeff Bezos fund his next space trip? Purchase the whole state of Rhode Island as his summer vacation spot? For the love of God, someone put a stop to this NBA arms race. At this rate, by 2030, even scrubs at the end of the bench will be banking $40 million a year. We'll have to take out a second mortgage just to afford courtside seats. And tickets. Don't even get me started on the concessions. A bag of peanuts at TD Garden is going to cost $1.75. You think I'm joking? You just wait. I guess Jaylen Brown's marginal improvement is worth a few $100 million extra for the Celtics. I mean, 26 points per game is nice and all, but for $304 million, the guy better levitate and start shooting lasers out of his eyes next season. Even Michael Jordan in his prime wasn't making that kind of yearly salary. Maybe Boston got a group discount for signing both Jaylen and Jason to mega deals. Is that it? Someone please explain how these numbers make any sense. I feel like I'm living in an alternate reality where monetary values no longer hold meaning. Jaylen, my man, congrats on the payday, but you couldn't even get your team to the finals last year. Was that worth $350 million? Is this contract going to be Jaylen's version of Chris Bosh joining the Heat? An albatross deal that eventually gets traded so the Celtics can rebuild? We shall see. At the end of the day, the Celtics clearly decided that locking up their core at any price was the #1 priority. I hope Jaylen Brown has room for all that money in his bank account because $304 million is more than he or his family will ever need or deserve. What a world we live in, where a 26-year-old is set financially for eternity because he's tall and can put a ball through a hoop. This is just getting absurd now. In a plot twist that would make even the writers of Grey's Anatomy jealous, Bronny James, the son of NBA star LeBron James, decided to turn a regular basketball practice at the University of Southern California into a medical drama. Yes, folks, we're not talking about a sprained ankle or a broken nose. We're talking about a cardiac arrest. Because why go for the mundane when you can go for the extraordinary? Bronny, who is just 18 and an incoming freshman for USC's basketball team, apparently thought it would be a good idea to give everyone a heart attack by having one himself. He is now out of the intensive care unit and in stable condition, according to a statement from a family spokesperson, because nothing says I'm ready for college, like a trip to the ICU. The statement read, "Yesterday, while practicing, Bronny James suffered a cardiac arrest. Medical staff was able to treat Bronny and take him to the hospital. He is now in stable condition and no longer in ICU." It's like a scene straight out of a medical drama, complete with the suspense, the drama, and the happy ending. Bronny, who is rated a 4-star recruit and shined in the McDonald's All-American game, averaged 14.1 points, 5.6 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and 1.7 steals his senior year of high school. But apparently he thought those stats weren't impressive enough and decided to add surviving a cardiac arrest to his resume. LeBron James, who will enter his 21st season in the NBA and his 6th season with the Los Angeles Lakers, has said one of his final goals is to play in the NBA with his son. Well, Bronny, that's one way to get your dad's attention. At the ESPI Awards 2 weeks ago, LeBron stood on stage alongside his wife, Savannah, and sons Bronny, Bryce, and daughter Zuri, who he described as the greatest blessing in my life. Well, Bronny, you certainly gave your dad another reason to count his blessings. Cardiac arrest among young athletes is rare but not unheard of. But then again, so is being the son of LeBron James, so I guess Bronny is just used to being one in a million. In conclusion, this whole saga is a reminder that even in the world of sports, life can throw you a curveball, or in this case, a heart attack. But if there's one thing we can learn from Bronny, it's that no matter what life throws at you, you can always bounce back, just like a basketball. Well, bust my buttons and call me a coal miner. Looks like Greta Thunberg's renegade protesting days have finally caught up with her. That's right, folks. After years of ditching school to hold weepy press conferences, the patron saint of environmental alarmism is officially a convicted criminal. Book her celly next to Florida, man. I tell you, this girl has been begging for a rap on the knuckles from the law for a while now. She's been waving those angry little fists since she was in pigtails. You can't just go around willy-nilly blocking harbors and roadways, then acting all surprised when the cops show up. That's Greta living in her own privileged eco-fantasy land. $144 fine ain't too harsh, if you ask me. Just wait until she has to pull an orange jumpsuit out of her climate goddess closet. Oh, the humanity. Can you imagine Greta's trademark scowl peering through iron bars? That pencil-snapping pout won't get her far when her only friend is a cockroach named Esmeralda. And calling herself a political prisoner? Give me a break. This drama queen thinks way too highly of her so-called necessity defense. Wake up and smell the carbon emissions, Greta. You're just an entitled truant, not Nelson Mandela. Maybe a couple nights in the slammer will help you learn civil disobedience has consequences. You might even call this long overdue karma. Little Miss Holier-than-thou has been wagging her finger at world leaders for years, while her devoted followers cheer her on like she's the second coming of Mother Earth herself. Well, sorry, Greta, but you've got to obey the law just like us plebeians. No amount of crunchy granola righteousness will save you now. Can't you just picture Greta sitting in the courtroom scowling as the judge slams down that guilty verdict? I bet she let out a sanctimonious huff, loud enough to blow down a wind turbine. Poor thing won't know what hit her once the cell door clanks shut. No more chartered yachts and flights for this eco-brat. Let's just hope they keep her in solitary. Otherwise, she'll have that whole cell block converted into insufferable climate activists. The guards will be begging for a return to the good old days of hardened criminals once Greta's crew really gets preaching. Mark my words, that girl can greenwash minds faster than Shell Oil executives on Earth Day. Well, hope you learned your lesson, Miss Thunberg. This is what happens when you think stylishly waving protest signs puts you above the law. No more treating environmental audacity like a rent-a-cause hobby. It's time to pay the piper, or in this case, Sweden's criminal justice system. Should have thought twice before biting the big meaty fist of the law. Star Kylian Mbappe. News broke this week that Saudi club Al Hilal submitted a record-shattering $332 million bid to pry Mbappe from Paris Saint-Germain. This preposterous offer lays bare the boundless hubris of the Saudi regime. With oil prices high, the kingdom is drunk on petro profits. They seem intent on buying their way to soccer legitimacy, no matter the cost. Signing Mbappe would hand the Saudis a PR coup and allow them to sports wash their deplorable human rights record. Let's examine this audacious bid and its wider implications. Al Hilal's offer smacks of desperation. The Saudis know Mbappe wants out of Paris, so they swooped in with an astronomical bid. $332 million, really? That's more than the entire payroll of some EPL teams. No player is worth that fee, but Saudi Arabia cares not for financial prudence. Not when image rehab is at stake. The bid's sheer excess reflects the regime's arrogance. The crown prince snaps his fingers and billions materialize. After all, when you're awash in oil, money is no object. Who cares if teachers in Riyadh scramble for groceries? There are soccer stars to sign. Mbappe's salary alone could fund major reforms, but priorities? Of course, Mbappe stands to make a mint from this farcical deal. He'd become the world's highest-paid player by miles. And for what? To grow soccer in a repressive autocracy? His salary alone could eclipse $700 million. That's filthy lucre even for Mbappe. He could fund several lifetimes by selling out to the Saudis. Yet by doing so, Mbappe would tarnish his brand beyond repair. No amount of sports washing can scrub away the regime's deplorable record on human rights. Signing for Al Hilal would make Mbappe the smiling face of Saudi atrocities. He'd be their star ambassador as they try to distract from bonesaw murders. Make no mistake, this bid is more sports washing from the PR-obsessed Saudis. After buying Newcastle United, they've now turned their attention to players. With Mbappe leading the line, they can pretend their league is world-class, not a vanity project fueled by blood money. Mbappe would have sold his soul for a few extra oil dollars. Let's hope the young superstar tells the Saudis where to stick their billions. Sure, turning them down could earn Mbappe problems in Paris, but no money is worth whitewashing the murderous regime holding his leash. This is Mbappe's chance to show principles still matter in modern football. Of course, there's little hope of that. Mbappe wants his Ballon d'Or and salaries exceeding the GDP of small nations. With greed his compass, expect Mbappe to follow the oil money. His Parisian nightmare may soon end, replaced by a soulless Saudi reverie. We will see in time if Mbappe accepts Al Hilal's risible offer. Whatever he chooses, no amount of Saudi sports washing can sanitize their abhorrent regime. Blood money can buy stars, but it cannot buy legitimacy. The world sees through such naked attempts at reputation laundering. Mbappe is free to sell his soul, but history will remember where his loyalties lie.